Year after year, one thing has remained constant: our goal to ensure meaningful economic development and uplift the lives of the people we serve. every time we energize our cities, fulfill the dreams of the many, forge genuine partnerships, connect ideas, design experiences, and solve our toughest challenges. We drive change for a better world. From a small town in the Visayas to our journey to become global, we will remain at the helm. Because our business is your story of firm foundations, purposeful growth, and the future that we share. Aboitiz, 100 years of advancing business and communities. Year
Today, I wake up to a new day, not knowing what this day will hold. Sometimes it's hard to get by, but I am reminded of the things that push me forward, the people who give me that little boost. A smile, a helping hand, it's those little things in between that make your journey in life full. And if we help each other, connect with one another, we may just be able to reach them a little easier. Because everyday acts of kindness can go a long way.
All right, we're live. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Ayan, for all the Visayas out there. Maayong buntag sa tanan. Ayan, so welcome to another session of the Aboitiz Beyond Classrooms, a virtual learning series for scholars and parents, which aims to help in foster personal growth, of course, of the scholars. My name is Zar Cinco from Aboitiz Equity Ventures Inc. and also from Team Swag. Ayan, from A Club. Ayan, a lot of Aboitiz clubs. Ayan, isa kami doon. We're Swag. We're like life group support team. Ayan, if you can show us the next slide, please. Ayan, kami yung Swag. Alright, so we usually we are always, every month we see each other pre-pandemic, ayan, and now we're seeing each other now once a month, ayan. So we are Team Swag, and I will be your moderator for today. Ayan, Zara Cinco here, ayan. So let's start. On a study conducted by Journal of Medical Internet Research, 138 out of 195 students, respondents, indicated increased stress, anxiety due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Okay, so we all experience that. This coupled with multiple stressors contributed to the increased levels of stress, anxiety, and depressive thoughts among students. Ayan, so not only students also, no, but also for us adults. This included fear and worry about their own health and of their loved ones, difficulty in concentrating, ayan, so disruptions to sleeping patterns, decreased social interactions due to physical distancing, and increased concerns on academic performance. So coping up to these factors may be tumultuous task for some who struggle to keep their anxieties at bay. So today, our ABC session will try to offer how students, you guys, can mitigate the anxieties students are facing at these times and hopefully offer coping, how to cope up and have these mechanisms they can employ, you can employ to keep your mental health healthy. Okay, so I know that you are all excited, but before that, we head to our speaker. Let us first acknowledge our participants, okay, who are joining us this morning via YouTube live stream. Ayan, so we have scholars and team members from Aboitiz Foundation, Aboitiz Power Renewables Bakban. Ayan, so Aboitiz Power Renewables Tiwi, Headcore Bukidnon, come on. Headcore Benguet, Headcore Sibulan, Luzon Hydro Corporation, Visayan Electric. Ayan, so daghang salamat. Thank you for spending your Friday morning with us. I know that you're busy and then you're trying to squeeze in your time here. So we're very happy that you're here. Ayan. So before we proceed pala, ayan, okay, so let's do this, guys. Let's be ready. Ayan, come on. So I'm encouraging all the students out there to lend me your ears. Ayan, let's have a quick mood check muna. Ayan. So, are you ready, guys? Ayan. So, if your mood today were a song, ayan, so mag-isip na kayo. Okay. What song title would it be and why? Ayan. So, please key in your answers in the comment section. Ayan, so I hope I can see your answers already based from the next slide that we're showing you guys. Ayan. If your mood today were a song, what would it be? What is that? My 10 seconds. Okay. So we have to wait for you guys. So, mood check, mood check. So what song title would it be and why? Ayan. So, meron kaya? Ayan, galing kay Neri. Hi, Ners. Thank you for your support. Bakit full of sunshine? Come on. Ayan. Galing kay Shania Twain. Wow, grabe. Ang ganda naman ng name. Happy by Pharrell William. Ayan. According kay Kenny Arada. Ayan. Sunflower by Post Maloney. Kasi chill lang. Ayan, come on. Ayan. Ano pa, guys? Pray by Argonavi, sabi ni Cristel. Ayan. Okay. Wow. So there's another also, sabi ni Hey Cruz, happy din. Same with Shania. Gusto niya yung kay Pharrell William also. Ayan. Meron din kay Eileen Tagorda. Ayan ang sagot niya. All too well. Wow, that's nice. So you're really in a good mood, I guess. Kasi may packet full of sunshine and then there's happy and then there's sunflower. Galing naman. Okay. So, that's great. Ayan. I'm happy to read and know that everybody, ayan, so meron pang sagot na iba. Ayan, ano to? Happiness by Rex Orange County, according kay Shelo. Ayan, kay Sha, sabi niya, I like me better. Wow. Okay, so according kay Christine, Paper Rings by Taylor Swift. Wow, ang dami namang sagot. Ayan. Sabi din ni MLM, Walking on Sunshine. Come on, that's nice. Okay, it's a great Friday naman. Alright, any more? Ayan, so, ano yung sabi ni Shay? Love. May ganun. Okay, sige. So, everybody has good mood today. Yeah, we're so happy for that. Ayan, as we wait for the presentation from our speaker. So I'm happy to read all and know that everyone feels happy and excited, and that is exactly how we are feeling right now today, as we're given another day to learn from other people and take a step forward in our personal growth. So, before we start our session, guys, ayan, so grabe ang daming sagot, nakikita ko. So, medyo madami, may beautiful, may minute, ayan, may ganon, ayan. At saka ito, sabi din ni Mel, ayan, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang Pasko, ayan, so may, Christmas vibes. Ayan, so, before we start with our session, let me continue. Okay, let us first have a quick photo op, ayan, with our speaker, ayan, si Miss Cheryl, ayan, she's our speaker. We can call her Shay. And then the Aboitiz team members, everyone in the call. So, are you ready, guys, to have a photo op? Okay, so, kung anybody there in the, watching us live, kindly give us a minute or two for us to have a photo op. Ayan. Hi, Shay! And everybody, hi, Aboitiz team! Pwede na tayong mag-picture?
Yes, MLM, may we request po yung mga videos ni MLM, Neri, Francis, and Sharon? Yan. All right. Okay, let's start. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and smile, everyone. Okay, thank you.
All right, we're good. Okay, sige. Thank you. All right, so once again, thank you again, ayan, team members and scholars for joining us this morning. So welcome to the Aboitiz Beyond Classrooms Learning Series. Ayan, so ABC is a virtual learning series for Aboitiz scholars that talk about skills and knowledge to help them thrive in the new normal. So since its launch in 2020, we were able to conduct a total of 7 sessions covering different topics such as building resilience in the new normal, okay, and then there's one also continuous self development, okay, and youth in sustainability, and many more. Okay, so these sessions will help both scholars and their parents to prepare themselves for today. Aboitiz Foundation, in partnership with a club and Save It Amazing Races, us, also known as Team Swag of Aboitiz A Club, we will discuss the topic mental health matters, in which reducing anxiety. Okay, so how do we respond anxiety? Ayan. A little anxiety and worry can be a normal part of your life, but it can become an overwhelming problem for some people, which can cause them to feel nervous and engage in thoughts and behaviors that can affect their lives and health. So through the session, we hope you will get tips on how you can recognize symptoms and how you can manage and take control of anxiety. So since we will be talking about reducing anxiety in today's session, we have prepared questions that you scholars and you students will have to answer. Okay, so we would like to know how you see yourself when you are in an anxious situation. Ayan. On your screens are options which you can choose from on the icons. Okay, so A, B, C, D. Ayan, that best describes your anxious self. Okay, so please key in your answers in the chat box. Ayan. So kayo ba tong A? Okay, are you this letter B? Ayan, based on the ayan, you're seeing on the screen, are you this person when you're anxious? Ayan. So let's key in your answers. It could be A, B, C, D. Kumbaga, by default. Okay, kung pag-anxious ka, saan ka dito? Are you A, B, C, or D? Ayan. So, may sumagot na A. Ayan. So, tatlo na yung sumagot ng A. Christine answers C. Si Roxy naman A. So, wala, ang daming A. Okay. Uy, sumusunod yung C. So, ang dami, di ba? So, mostly A and C. Oh, dumadami yung C. Okay. So, I'm sure you're curious to know, di ba, the meaning behind your answers. Okay. So, now focus your attention on the screen. Your answer basically represents how you relieve stress. Ayan. So, each coping mechanism may vary. Ayan. On how we try to alleviate our anxiety. Ayan. So, if you can see in the slide, if you're A, you're like a silent sufferer. Ayan. It's like stops you worry deep inside of you and doesn't talk about them. Sa'yo lang. Sa'yo lang. It seems like it's me. It's me lang and I don't have nobody to talk. Ako lang kasi parang I'm shy. Ganyan. So, ang tawag sa'yo, silent sufferer ka pala. Kapag ikaw ang sumagot ng A, hala, ang daming sumagot ng A, that's you. Okay, so pag letter B naman, you're like mother hen. Ayan, so often nags others to try to reduce stress and anxiety. Nilalabas mo sa iba. Okay, so yun nag. Okay, so ikaw yan pag sumagot ka ng B. Okay, so letter C naman, you're a busybody. Okay, constant activity because unfinished task or project creates stress and worry. Ayan. Are you this kind of person? And as in talagang, hala, yung parang pag you're anxious, ang dami mong ginagawa. Well, I also felt that. And sometimes parang, hala, ang dami kong ginawa, pero wala akong natapos. Parang ganon, okay? So, okay, and then letter D naman, you're like a control freak, diba? You maneuvers or manipulates others in order to reduce inner anxiety. Ayan. So, grabe, no? Parang based lang doon sa, sa nakita natin, yung kanina na slide, previous slide, ito na pala yung meaning niya. Okay, so each coping mechanism nga, iba-iba to alleviate our anxiety. And today, we will learn some healthy ways of coping with these anxieties without resulting to the previous mechanisms mentioned in the previous slide. Ayan, so hopefully it can really help us. So thank you again, everybody, again, for participating in the mood check. I know that you are all excited, okay, as much as we are for today's learning session. So to add on to your excitement, guys, ayan, come on scholars, come on students, okay, we will be giving away prizes, okay, to the fastest participants. Okay, pwede nating sabihin, the pinaka-bibo, okay, who can answer our pop quiz. Ayan, gabi, pag sinabing pop quiz, no? Pero, guys, kayang-kaya yung sagutin yan throughout the session. Okay, so make sure to look out for them by listening attentively throughout the session. Okay, so I'm excited. Okay, I know that you're also excited. So without further ado, let me introduce to you our speaker. Ayan, so today's speaker is Cheryl Pampo. Ayan, she's the admin coordinator of Victory Christian Foundation. Ayan, she graduated of AB Social Science. Ayan, so yun nga, no? And then she has a lot of experience also in dealing with students. Ayan, so okay, so Cheryl, are you there? Take it away.
Yes, hi everyone. Good morning. Na ma-meet ang mga scholars for Aboitiz Foundation. Zar already mentioned earlier that I work for Victory Christian Fellowship. Actually, as of the moment, I am the area coordinator of Real Life Foundation. It's a scholarship giving body as well that provides financial assistance para sa ating mga underprivileged youth but are deserving to finish a degree. Ayan. And it's also nationwide. Currently, we have like less than 2,000 scholars, and we are actually aiming na for the next school year, 2022 to 2023, we would be able to help sana makatarget kami ng 3,000 nationwide dito sa Pilipinas. Ayan. So, I'm very excited to meet all of you guys. And before that, let me share to you first. Zar mentioned earlier that we are going to talk about dealing with anxiety. Well, our discussion for today on dealing with anxiety may not be super comprehensive, as we also recognize that mental health is a multifaceted issue. There are different kinds of disorders na ngayon na naririnig natin. But our hope that this talk offers a piece of solution, and that we hope that it will reach you. Yes, you na nakikinig, ikaw na scholar, and be of help to those who are in need of it. And just like what I've mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about dealing with anxiety. And most of the principles and insights that we're going to talk about here will be taken from the teachings of Steve Cuss on managing leadership anxiety. Well, I've actually chosen this book because I know that all of you are leaders. I hope na in the next few years, or maybe in the next generation, one of our presidents will be coming from Aboitiz Foundation, di ba? One of our future leaders will be coming from this foundation, because I've heard from Czar, from Francis, and even to Daryl yesterday when we had the meeting, na all of you are actually good students. Sobrang ang tataas ng grades and all that. Ayun. But before that, let me share to you my screen. I'm going to share to you. Meron lang tayong quick activity. I would like to ask everyone to have their pen and paper ready. Huwag kayong mag-alala, walang hindi to graded. Okay lang na magkamali and all that. So here's what we're going to do. Please get a pen and paper ready, and then we're going to rate ourselves. This is very important because for us to be able to know the treatment, we have to have a diagnosis first. So this is actually called the GAD-7, or it's a tool for a generalized anxiety disorder. This was developed by doctors Robert Spitzer and Janet Williams, and from Pfizer Incorporated. So I would like to ask everyone, I will give you like 3 minutes for you to be able to answer this questionnaire. And then once you're done with that, you can add up your results on each column. Nandito na rin naman siya. And then total, for the total score, add columns and then total it together. There. So I'll give you 3 minutes for you to be able to answer. last 30 seconds for everyone. Last 10 seconds. Okay, there. So I hope that you were able to get your score and you were able to tally everything. So what your total score actually means. So knowing your current state is important because knowing your state helps you determine how are we going to handle your stress, how are you going to relate to others, and then how are you going to make choices knowing what your current state is. Kumbaga, correct diagnosis means correct treatment. Because actually, last assessment, when we are having our application session, most of the scholars or most of the applicants na interview namin, 80 to 90% ng mga applicants, ang sinasabi nila that they are depressed. But when we ask them, are you diagnosed? Are you clinically diagnosed? Or ikaw lang yung nagsabi na nade-depress ka? And then out of the 90% na nagsabi, isa lang yung clinically diagnosed na nade-depress siya. This is very critical because it doesn't mean that you are sad at the moment, or it doesn't mean that you are having anxiety or you are having fears. You are in a situation na hindi ka na okay, or you are in a situation na you are having a disorder, because you might just be feeling some emotions and then that's just it. So knowing your current state is very important. So here's your guide for you to be able to, kumbaga, determine if you are having a severe anxiety or if there is really a need for you. And if you will notice, doon sa pinakita ko kanina, na the one that I've mentioned earlier is just over the last 2 weeks. Over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by the following problems? The reason for that is because yung mga past experiences mo can no longer have an effect on you. So, kumbaga, we are just looking at your current state as of the moment. And as we all know, ang dami-dami talaga sa atin yung nakaka-experience. In fact, para siguro ma-relieve din kayo. In fact, even me, di ba, na coach na ng mga scholars din, is still experience yung mga ganito. So I hope that this could also be a safe place for everyone to be able to, kumbaga, be honest sa kung ano yung nararamdaman natin. So if you scored 0 to 4, ibig sabihin you are having mild anxiety. If it's 5 to 9, it's moderate. And then if it's 10 to 14, moderately severe anxiety. And then if it's 15 to 21, it's severe anxiety. Well, according to this study, the Generalized Anxiety Disorder Tool, if you scored 10 and above na points, they actually encourage you to seek medical assistance, or go to a doctor and then ask for help if there's anything that they can be of help sa'yo tungkol sa nararamdaman mo. Or if you are still in a situation wherein nahihiya ka pa, and sometimes there are instances kasi na we feel that I'm not financially capable of going to the doctor. I'm not, coach, hindi kami ready. Pangkain nga, wala kami. Iisipin ko pa ba yung sitwasyon na to? If you are having those doubts to go to the doctor, then I would suggest that you talk to someone, or go to your coaches, go to your leaders, go to your parents, speak to them, for you to be able to at least release these feelings na nararamdaman ninyo. So first, let me give you an insight. ano ba yung nangyayari ngayon sa sitwasyon na meron tayo? According to Robert Leahy, he's a cognitive behavioral therapist, the average high school kid today has the same level of anxiety as the average psychiatric patient in the early 1950s. Just imagine, guys, he is actually making a comparison between the average high school kid today sa isang psychiatric patient in the early 1950s. So, ganun kan taas yung level of anxiety. In fact, the number of Google searches related to anxiety has doubled in the last 5 years. So, even before the pandemic, kasi di ba pandemic is just like 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years lang, even before the pandemic, tumataas na talaga yung anxiety level. Mas tumaas lang because we were disconnected from people, nawala yung face-to-face conversation. And one of the reasons, just to give you an example, bibigyan ko na kayo based from my experience as a coordinator of the scholarship program then. One of the reasons na nakikita namin is one of the things na nangyayari kasi for the student, nagiging coping mechanism nila kung bakit para mawala yung anxiety disorder is for them to be in school, at least mawala sila doon sa, halimbawa, sa bahay. Mawala sila sa bahay. So yun yung nagbibigay ng stress level sa kanila. So ang coping mechanism nila is to go out, go to their friends, go sa school. Kahit yung school mismo nagiging coping mechanism. Hindi natin napapansin that it's actually a coping mechanism. But today, dun sa sitwasyon na meron tayo ngayon, wala kang way to go out. There's no way for you to be able to kumbaga go out and then be with your friends. The only way that you can be with your friends is through Messenger, yung mga social media, and sometimes that is not actually enough. Ayun. And according to data of National Institute of Mental Health, 38%, just imagine 38% of girls ages 13 to 17 and 26% of boys have anxiety disorder. So, bakit nga ba nagkakaroon ng anxiety? So, as we will go dig later, how are we going to deal with anxiety? These are the things that we are going to discuss. Number one is, what are the triggers? Ayun. So, kapag nagkaroon na ng triggers, now I know that I have anxiety. Ano yung mga manifestations niya? Is it just on me? Or meron ba siya sa internal? Like sa body ko, may nangyayari ba? And ano ba yung nagiging impact ng anxiety ko? Is it just on me or does it also affect others like my friends, my family? And knowing that I have this disorder, how can I deal with my anxiety? As we all know, we are in a war. Diba? Kumbaga, we are in a war in a sense that we have to deal with a lot of things. And knowing that you are in a war, papaano mo matutulungan yung sarili mo kumbaga to equip yourself to be in a war. Diba? Kasi hindi ka pwedeng, alam mong may gera, tapos pupunta ka na lang doon and then you expect yourself to win. Diba? So how can you win in the war knowing that you have this kind of things na pinagdadaanan mo? So first, let's define what anxiety is. Okay, so anxiety is actually defined as a feeling of worry, nervousness, unease, typically caused by fear and uncertainty of the future. So if we're going to look at it, anxiety manifests itself in a multitude of ways. So you could be feeling distressed, you could be feeling uneasy, worried, upset, nervous, and all that. And fear can be a symptom of anxiety or the cause of it. So guys, you have to remember that defining a certain emotion is very crucial. Okay? Kasi dito mo kumbaga dito mo malalaman ano yung saan ka nanggagaling, di ba? Again, correct diagnosis is equal to correct treatment. So you have to also be reminded that fear is actually different from anxiety. So pag sinabi natin na fear, it's usually caused by tangible objects or threats. Let's say, for example, may takot ka sa daga, may takot ka sa gagamba, or may takot ka on a certain object. While anxiety, it's mostly directed toward imagined or unrealized objects or condition. Let's say, for example, nagkakaroon ka ng anxiety because you are fearful of the future. Kumbaga, hindi pa naman nangyayari, nagkakaroon ka na ng emotions deep inside na takot ka na. Or in fact, hindi mo pa naman nakikita, hindi mo pa naman nararanasan. So, knowing this, okay, so Coach Shay, alam ko na, ito pala yung definition of anxiety. Tapos nakita ko na kanina, based on the test that you provided, na ito yung current state ko. Okay. Pero, hindi ko alam, saan ba yung pinanggagalingan? Ano ba yung, hindi ko kasi minsan nade-determine, bigla na lang akong natatakot, bigla na lang akong nininervyos, na hindi ko alam kung ano yung mga pinagdadaanan ko. Okay, so what triggers my anxiety? Okay, so in this topic, we are going to identify where the anxiety lives. So we're going to recognize lang, this is very important in the sense na once we recognize that anxiety, we would be able to, kumbaga ikaw mismo, malalaman mo or magkakaroon ka ng idea, okay, ito yung trigger ko. Since ito yung trigger ko, I would be able to manage my emotion. Kasi minsan ang trigger ko pala is just because of the trauma na nangyari sa akin. So, okay, itong fear ko or itong anxiety ko is not because of hindi ko kaya or takot ako sa bagay na to. It's just because of a trauma. Nakakasakit tong taon na to or itong bagay na to, ayoko na dito. Hindi pala yon. It's just because of a certain trauma. So, it's very important. So, what triggers anxiety? It could be two factors. Number one is external and number two is internal. So external anxiety. External factors could be events. Kunyari, death in the family. Yun. If you will notice, transitions can also be a trigger of anxiety. Even if it's a positive transition, let's say for example, nagkaroon ka ng trabaho, or let's say for example, I know kayo ay mga scholars, for sure, dahil scholars kayo, for sure, ang gagaling nyo na. Maybe some of you are part of a school organization or you're part of a student council. Your transition now is you were elected as one of the president ng student council nyo. If you're going to look at it, it's actually a positive transition because you became the president. But sometimes, little do we know that it can also be a factor para sa anxiety mo. Kasi doon namang gagaling na, ano ba, am I really up for this position? Am I capable of leading my school, the whole students na iba-iba yung ugali, iba-iba yung culture, iba-iba yung pinanggagalingan from first year to fourth year and all that. School stress can also be a factor to your anxiety. Ongoing worry about finances. I know for some of you, kumbaga napaka-responsable nyo, hindi lang bilang isang estudyante, kundi maging isang anak din. I know for some of you, baka iniisip nyo, naku, walang trabaho si tatay ngayon, saan kaya kami kukuha ng pangkain namin? Naku, si nanay na wala ng trabaho, hindi makakapaglabada. May pangbaon kaya si Bunso, or ngayon dahil wala na, dahil lahat tayo online school, di ba? Paano kaya kami makakabili ng gadget? either ng cellphone or ng laptop nang pwede kong gamitin, knowing na si nanay at si tatay ay wala namang trabaho or hindi enough yung kinikita. In fact, ito, yung mga marites. Gossip can also be a source of anxiety. Na kahit na alam natin na, kunyari, sa social media, minsan kahit alam natin na hindi totoo, in one way or another, it will affect you. Kahit minsan hindi naman totoo kung ano yung either ikaw yung pinagsasabihan or even in fact yung mga idols na meron tayo. Alam naman natin na kumbaga gossip lang yon from the Marites, di ba? Sa Marites Nation, but still you are being affected. Yon. And then those are just some of the examples of external factors. So punta naman tayo dun sa internal. So internal is actually what happens within you. Yon. According to Steve Cass, which is the writer of the book, sabi niya, internal factors of anxiety are the things wherein when you don't get what you think you need that you don't really need. Yan. I'll repeat ha. Internal triggers of anxiety is when you don't get what you think you need that you don't really need. Ayan. So, you have to remember na tao lang tayo. At the end of the day, we're just human. Needs and opportunities are endless. Sobrang endless nito. And you also have to recognize that you are a limited person. So when I say that you are a limited person, even if you are the president of yours sa school, even if you are the most brilliant student this Philippines will ever have, diba? You are a limited person. Yon. So when we say internal factors, there are things kasi na feeling natin nagtitrigger sa atin ang anxiety natin. Pero kung titignan natin, it's not actually the thing that you should not consider. Kumbaga, hindi mo na dapat siya iniisip. Pero iniisip mo siya kasi feeling mo importante siya. So what are these emotions? So sa examples lang to ha, and this could be much more. Number one is it could be I need to please my teacher. Ang nakakatakot nito, hindi lang yung teacher yung kailangan mong ma-please. Minsan, kailangan mong ma-please even your parents. Kaya napapansin nyo, kapag nakakuha kayo ng mababang marka, kinakabahan na kayo. Pero nakapasa na naman kayo, medyo mababa lang. Kasi alam ko mga scholars kayo siguro, ang average na gusto nyo ay 99. Nakakuha kayo 97. Ano ba to? Hindi ako magaling kasi 97 lang. The usual grade that I get is 99. Nagkaka-anxiety na. I need to be noticed. Or sometimes kapag nag-my day kayo, I actually have, meron akong kakilala isang estudyante. Lagi nalaman yung mga my day, gano'n, sa Facebook. So, yung sa my day, yung sa Facebook pala, pwede kang mag-my day. Parang it's just 24 hours. So, sinasabi niya sa akin, Coach, pa lang ako, nakaka-scene pa lang daw, yung nagsiscene pa lang nung my day niya are 20 people. Tapos yung crush niya, hindi pa nakikita yung minay day niya. So, kumbaga, feeling niya, hindi na siya importante kasi hindi siya napapansin. Ayun. So, because of that, nagkakaroon na siya ng anxiety. Feeling niya hindi siya importante. Feeling niya hindi siya nagmamatter. Yun. And then other one is, I need to always know the answer. Kung baga, dinefine mo na yung sarili mo as a very, bright person na dapat you always have to know the answer. If you don't know the answer, you feel you are not good enough. Diba? You need to sound smart. Kailangan lagi kang may sagot. You need people to like you. You need people to like you to the point na lahat na lang ng ipapagawa nila, gagawin mo. To the point na napagod ka na. Tapos one time, hindi mo napansin, sumabog ka na. Tapos, magugulat yung mga tao sa'yo, ano nangyari dito? Okay naman to. Yun pala, hindi mo na na-manage yung emotions mo. Ito, I haven't really lived my life until. Ayan. So ito, sa mga ano to, yung mga titang katulad ko, yung mga, I haven't really lived my life until I have my own family. Ayan. I haven't really lived my life until hindi ako nakakaroon ng sahod na 6-digit. Kasi yun yung definition ko of success. It's all on me and I must do something. Yan. Kung mapapansin nyo, dinalawa ko siya. It's all on me and I must do something. Kasi minsan feeling natin, it's all about us. Yung responsibility, it's all about us. And there are a lot of things na nagtitrigger ng anxiety natin. And with all of these things na nagtitrigger, okay, alam ko na, Coach Shay, sabi mo, ito yung nagtitrigger ng anxiety ko. So, nalaman ko na, I have my anxiety and ito pala yung, I have anxiety at ito pala yung nagtitrigger ng anxiety ko. Iniwan pala ako ng parents ko before. There was a time na feeling ko, hindi ako inalagaan ng parents ko. That's why, ang nangyayari sa akin, yung my day ko, kailangan laging napapansin kasi doon ako nakakakuha ng feeling of being loved, ganon. Yun. So, ano naman yung manifestations nito? Dahil nalaman ko na. So, there could be two, physical, and then yung response natin would be anxious response. Number 1 is physical manifestation. Ayan, guys, you have to remember it doesn't mean na anxiety siya, it's all in the mind. Actually, there are things na nakakaapekto sa body natin. A few months ago, I watched this video before kasi hindi ako, naririnig ko na, stress can give you, magkakaroon ka ng sakit because of your stress. I actually don't believe on that before. Ayan. But I've watched this specific video wherein the doctor scientifically explained why stress can cause sickness. Kapag pala yung brain mo is very powerful to the point that it produces hormones, and that hormones, I forgot the term, and that hormones can trigger your body, yung body parts mo, like yung kidneys and all that, that causes yung sickness naman. So, minsan, napapansin natin, these are the things na nararanasan ko, like mind spinning, heart racing, yung bigla ka na lang kinakabahan, muscles tightening, even loss of energy. In fact, when I say loss of energy, this usually happens when before, let's say for example, the same passion that ignites you can also be the same fire that could burn us out. So let's say for example, you are into basketball, you're passionate about basketball, you're passionate about studies, kasi gusto mo maging magaling ka. Pero in the long run, hindi mo napapansin na what started as passionate, nagiging anxiety for you. Kasi either hindi ka nagpa-perform ng maayos, kaya nagkakaroon ng physical manifestations on your end. Yun. And then the other one is the anxious response. So ano yung mga nagiging response mo? Meeting after the meeting. Kunyari, di ba tayo, most of the time our meetings are online. Yung alam mong nag-vibrate pa lang or nagkaroon ng tunog yung phone mo, parang, hi, ito na naman, may kausap na naman ako, meron na naman magbe-message and all that, tapos may Zoom meeting na naman, pagod na ako. And then, you start self-promoting and seeking affirmation. kumbaga, hinahanap mo na yung value mo based doon sa kung ano man yung ginagawa mo. Nagkakaroon ka ng emphatic strain or compassion fatigue, wherein yung parang wala na. Alam mo yun, yung parang nawalan ka na ng gana. And then the siege mode. When I say siege mode, ito yung it's actually a military tactic na ang ginagawa nila, i-fortify nila yung isang place. Kunyari, papaligiran nila para sumuko or mag-surrender yung isang tao or yung isang bagay na kailangan nilang kalabanin. So, usually on this, ang ginagawa natin is, paano ba to? Halimbawa, may project kayo. Diba? Ang gagawin mo, sasabihan mo lahat ng mga kasama mo, guys, urgent to. Kailangan tapusin natin to. And then you make everyone work harder. To the point na ikaw na pala yung nagiging cause ng anxiety din ng ibang tao. Ayan. So, these are the manifestations. Ayan. So, okay. So, knowing that there are things na pwede palang mag-manifest sa akin, ano naman yung mga impact? Okay. So, impact could be anxiety stops you from being fully present and aware of what's actually going on. So let's say, for example, your decision can also be, your decision does not just affect you. It affects everyone. It affects your family. Let's say, for example, nagkaroon ka ng anxiety disorder to the point na you decided to stop sa pag-aaral mo. You have to remember that you deciding to stop sa pag-aaral mo is not just on you. It will affect your family. Siyempre, dahil kasama mo sila, kumbaga kunyari, halimbawa, ikaw yung inaasahan nila, di ba? It affects your future. It affects your family. Siyempre, magiging concerned sila sa'yo and all that. It affects your ability to have a human-to-human connection. Because of your anxiety level, ang nangyayari na, nagkakaroon siya ng, you don't want to connect with others. And sometimes the higher you up in leadership, the more your anxiety impacts your group. The more anxiety impacts your group to the point that, because of certain responsibilities, feeling mo, lumadami din yung mga bagay na nagpapakos ng anxiety sa'yo. Ayan. So, okay, knowing that I have these triggers, that there are manifestations na nangyayari pala sa akin, how can I deal with this? Ayan, how can I deal with this anxiety? Well, for us to be able to, kumbaga, mas maalala kung ano on how am I going to deal with anxiety, I've actually created yung mga letters. Ayan, so, it's how to manage and deal with anxiety. I have here the word act. Ayan. So, these are just some of the tips ha. Hindi ko sinasabi na kapag ito ginawa mo, magiging effective na, mawawala na yung anxiety mo. Again, at the end of the day, it will be your decision. It may work on a certain person, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it could work on you. But again, it will depend on your assessment. It will depend on your, kumbaga, yung diagnosis mo sa sarili mo. Ayun. So, it's act. So, how am I going to manage and deal with my anxiety? You have to act. Okay. So, what does A means? Number 1 is to assess. Okay. So, kagaya na anong sinabi ko kanina, correct diagnosis is correct treatment. You have to assess yourself. Ano yung stress level ko? Ano yung nagko-cause ng anxiety ko? Ano yung, so knowing that these are the things that triggers my anxiety, how am I going to react with my emotions? So, what is the chronic need that is fueling your anxiety? Let's say, for example, ang assessment mo pala sa sarili mo, it's because of a certain trauma. So, knowing that it's actually a trauma, hindi pala ibig sabihin na, ay, hindi, konti lang yung konti lang yung views ko sa my day kasi it's not on me. Hindi siya sa'yo. Hindi ibig sabihin na konti lang yung views mo sa my day, hindi ka na-love ng mga tao. Maybe it's because mali lang yung oras ng pagmamay day mo. Diba? There is statistics in Facebook wherein there is actually a time mas maraming views. Or let's say, for example, people nowadays, because of siguro they feel like toxic yung social media, they differ from going to that specific website, yung mga tipong ganon. So you have to assess. Number 2 is create. Ayan. So create. So what does letter C? It's create and utilize your life-given gifts. So when I say create and utilize your life-given gifts, there are actually giftings that you are capable of. Let's say, for example, if you are experiencing anxiety or parang may fear ka, think of things or think of the giftings that God has given you na magbi-bring ng joy sa'yo. Let's say, for example, you are extrovert ka. Tapos, nagkakaroon ka ng anxiety just because you feel like you are disconnected from people. Dahil nga, most of the time, nasa bahay ka lang. Since you were able to assess your life-given gifts, learn how to utilize that. Instead of isipin mo yung sitwasyon na okay, dito ka lang, wala kang connection sa other people. As an extrovert, use that for you to be able to have joy in your heart. Let's say, for example, then connect with people, kahit man lang online. For sure, more or less in the next few months or in the next few years, you will be connected with them. At least start with small steps. Ayun. And lastly, create and utilize your life-given gifts. Stop comparing yourself to others. God created you in a sense that you are unique. You are created uniquely in a sense that you are different from others. Kumbaga, ang galing naman nitong kaklase ko kasi ang tataas ng mga grades niya, tapos ang galing niyang mag-speak in front of people, ang galing niyang makakonect sa people. Bakit kaya ako? Parang ang hirap kong makakonect sa tao. Parang feeling ko napaka-introvert ko kasi you are created in such a way na introvert ka kasi there is a purpose for that. Kung baga, you are introvert tapos nakikita mo ang dali mong makakonect doon sa mga kapwa mo introvert. Yung extrovert, nahihirapan siyang makakonect doon. Kasi nga, ang ingay-ingay niya. So, itong mga taong to, mas feel nila yung yung mga tahimik. Then, that's actually a gift for you na wala doon sa isa. Diba? And the last one is trust. Ayan, trust. Hindi siya trust. Ayan, trust. I'm not sure if you're familiar with trust. This is actually a picture of trust. Yung trust is a structure. Ayan, yung mga engineers na meron tayo dito. According to nung ni-research ko siya, it's a structure that consists of members organized into connected triangles so that overall assembly behaves as a single object. When I say trust, it means you connect yourselves to others. Connect yourselves to people that will help you manage your emotions. Ayan. So, let me share to you lang a quick story. There's this one time, yung pamangkin ko, nag-audition siya dun sa school nila. It's a school play. Kumakanta kasi yung pamangkin ko and nag-play din siya ng piano. So, because she knows how to play the piano and she knows how to play the guitar, she's very confident that she will get the role. Nung nagkaroon na ng audition dun sa school nila, unfortunately, hindi siya nakuha. So, lumapit siya sa akin. Sabi ko, tita, confirm po, tita na po ako. Ayan, so sabi niya, tita, bakit ganon? I feel like I'm not good enough because of this. I feel like may talent naman ako. Yung isa hindi naman ganon kagaling. She's not even she does not even know how to play the piano and all that, pero nakuha siya, ganyan. So, kinomfort ko, you know what, ang pangalan ng pamangkin ko ay Casey. Casey, you know what, you're good. God has given you these giftings, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of that, ano pa rin siya, malungkot pa rin siya. She doesn't feel comforted dun sa mga sinabi ko. And then I asked na I asked her, sabi ko, punta ka na lang sa kausapin mo to. Doon kasi sa probinsya namin, we have like a local church. So I asked one of yung mga leaders niya to talk to her. Sabi niya, punta ka dito ha, kausapin mo si ate mo, ganito, talk to her, ganyan. So, surprisingly, the same word na sinabi niya dun sa pamangkin ko, hindi naman the same word, but more or less it's the same. Kung ano yung sinabi ko, sinabi rin ng leader niya. And in one way or another, na-comfort yung pamangkin ko. So, kumbaga, because she was connected, what am I trying to say here? You also have to be careful who do you listen to, who do you connect to. Kumbaga, nagkataon lang, nabuti na lang, yung tao na nakausap niya is the, kumbaga, leader sa church, kung saan kami umaattend ng family ko. And then, what am I trying to say here? You have to be careful. Minsan kasi, it's not, minsan alam mo na okay, leader siya, okay naman siya, tita ko siya, pero bakit hindi siya nakikinig? Minsan kasi, it's the same voice that she hears. So, minsan nawawala na ng value. That's why you have to be very careful. Who do you listen to? Diba? Hindi, minsan, it's not because, it's not because this person is actually saying good things. Minsan, because of the trust that you have given to this specific person. So, going back to what I've discussed earlier, trust. Connect yourself to people. Connect yourself to people. Ayan. So, just a quick, I will not ask you to do this na lang. But this is one thing that you can do after. Later, pwede nyo reassess yung sarili nyo. This is called the circle of relations. So, you can do this. Tapos, base doon sa circle, the closer you are, doon mo ilalagay kung sino yung mga tao na feeling mo involved in your life. Tapos, so the closer you are, the closer to the circle or closer to the me section, ibig sabihin nun, mas close sa'yo at mas nakaka-apekto siya sa emotions mo. So you can actually put there the name of the people or person na responsible if you feel happiness and kumbaga, how much of your inner life and most private thoughts and feelings you share with that person. Pwede mo ring maging reference yon and how much that person means to you. So, as you assess this, dun mo rin makikita na, okay, this is actually also a good example of, kumbaga, a training for you para ma-assess mo and also at the same time, ma-assess mo yung connection mo sa mga tao using this activity. Kasi makikita mo dito, why is this person, bakit ako nasaktan dito sa tao na to? Sinabihan lang naman niya ako ng, kunyari, alam mo, hindi ka magaling. Pero kapag ibang tao naman ang nagsabi, kunyari, yung katabi mo sa bus, di ba? Alam mo, hindi ka magaling. Usually, ang magiging reaction mo, baliw ba tong tao na to? Hindi ko man siya kilala. Yun. It's because of the relationship kasi hindi siya ganun kalapit. So this could be a great example for you to be able to assess yourself. So how can I manage and deal with my anxiety? You act, you assess, you create and utilize your life-given gifts, and then you trust, connect with people. And lastly, nothing beats your personal relationship with the Lord. Kumbaga, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect for you to be able to be of help to someone. Like what I've mentioned earlier, all of us are in a war, diba? We are We are in a war in a sense that we are all dealing with something. But even if you are in a war, you can also be a channel of blessing to others. And just reading this verse to end my talk today, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, for fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not been perfected in love. At the end of it all, know your identity in the Lord, that you are fully known and fully loved. You are created in such a way that you are not so perfect because there is a purpose for that. And you have to remember that having anxiety is not an act of faithlessness, that you are not the kumbaga, most perfect student just because you are having that anxiety. Kumbaga, knowing that you are in that situation helps you to get to that place where you can actually see a glimpse of light, which also can lead you to experience God. And I hope that this talk actually helps you. So far, again, kagaya nga ng sinabi ko, it's multifaceted. But I hope that this will help you in whatever situation that you are facing now. So there, ayan. Coach Zar, Ate Zar.
Wow, thank you, Ate Shay. Ayan, thank you for that very engaging talk. Ayan, I know our viewers for today learned a lot about anxiety management. So I believe your tips were very helpful to our students. Okay, so if you find the session helpful, can we see a thumbs up at the comment section? Ayan, so can we see kung okay ba yung talk ni Ate Shay? All right. Okay, but before we go to Q&A, I know that you are excited and then you have a lot of questions to her. Magpapa-quiz muna kami. Okay, so for those students, of course, scholars, all right, who are so bibo, ayan, yung super fast sumagot. Ayan, so be ready. Are you ready, guys? So are you there already? So we have this first question for you. So, mechanics muna tayo. For the first person, okay, who can answer this question, ayan, kung sino yung pinaka-first who can type in really very fast in our chat box. Okay, siya yung mananalo. Okay, so, are you ready? Our first question, okay, is this. Okay, according to Robert Lay, cognitive behavior therapist, ayan, kanina to, diniscuss to ni Ate Shay, ayan, the average blank today has the same level of anxiety as the average blank in the early 1950s. Okay, so if you're listening kanina, definitely you know this answer. So there are two answers. So I guess this will be 2 points. Ayan. So Aboitiz Foundation actually nag-prepare talaga sila for this. So because they have a lot of prizes for you guys, okay, for all the students out there. Come on now. All right. So can I see your answers now? Sa chat box, ayan. Sino kaya ang unang makakasagot sa pinaka-bibo, pinaka-fastest? Okay, who can type in the correct answer? So are you there? Are you typing in your answers? Okay. Sabi ni Cristel, teenagers, psychiatric patients, ayan. So, meron muna akong kailangan sakto, okay? So, yung first answer, siya, 2 words. Yung second answer, 2 words din, okay? So, yun ha, tip ko na yun ha, alam nyo na, okay? So, meron bang sumagot na ng tama? Alright, 2 words kasi siya, okay? So, the average blank today. Okay, so can we see? Meron na bang sumagot? Okay, ayan. Can we see the correct answer? All right, so what's the correct answer? Ayan, there you go. All right, so the average high school today, ayan, has the same level of anxiety as the average psychiatric patient in the early 1950s. So, can you imagine? So, ang tamang nakasagot ay, okay, so high school kids. Sabi niya dito. Kasi sabi ni Crystal Faye, teenagers yung first answer niya. Okay? Pero ang tamang nakasagot talaga is si Strania Faye Villaches. So, paano ba? We will consider na lang the high school kid, okay, and psychiatric patient. Okay. So, that's right. Congratulations, Strania Faye Villaches. Okay. So, can you wait for instructions from Aboitiz Foundation? Ayan. So, very good ka dyan, Strania. Okay. So, another question number 2. So, are you ready, guys? So, be very fast in answering the question. Are you ready? Okay. Let's see. Question number 2. It is defined as a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically caused by fear and uncertainty of the future. Anong ibig sabihin nito, guys? Okay. Kindly type in already at the chat box. Ayan. So, meron akong clue. Ang clue nito, isang word lang siya. Isang word lang siya. Ayan, come on. Sino kaya ang unang makakasagot nito? Alright. Wow. Ang bilis talaga ni Crystal Faye. 6 yun? Okay. Wow. Very good. Ayan, dahil dyan, you won. Okay, you won that second question. Congratulations. Napakabilis mo. Ikaw na. Okay. So, next question na tayo. So, okay. Number 3 question. Okay. Share your key takeaway from this ABC session. So, I think we're going to accept three answers. Pinaka-best answer. Ayan. So, wala namang mali sa mga sasagot nyo, di ba? But we have this, panelist, ayan, nasa likuran natin sila, nasa likuran namin, ayan. So, for you, ano yung key takeaway mo from the session? Ayan, kay Ate Shay. Ayan, so, sino yung may pinakamagandang sagot? Okay, so we're going to, pick 3 best answers. Okay, so kindly key in your answers in the chat box. Ayan, so I'm not seeing it yet now. Hindi ibig sabihin na yung pinaka-fastest. Pero eto na yung may magandang sagot. Ayan. Wow, so I'm reading from Eileen Renee Tagorda. Sabi niya, it's okay not to be okay. Alright, okay. Alam ko yung Korean drama na yan. So, that's very famous. Ayan. Sabi naman ni Leslie Ann Polinar, assess, create, trust. Okay. According naman kay Christine Violata, ayan, at the end of the day, have relationship with the Lord, okay? According naman kay Shania Twain, wow, napaganda ng mga pangalan na yan, okay? So, it's okay not to be okay. Take time to assess, create, and utilize your life. So, given gifts and trust. Take time to take a break. Ayan. So, ang gagaling ng mga sagot nyo, guys, actually. Ang galing. Grabe lang. So, it really shows na nakinig kayo kay Ate Shay kanina. Alright, so any other answers pa? Come on now. We're looking for 3 best answers. Okay. So ano pa? Wala na bang iba? Si lang? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 pa lang. We're looking for best of 3. Ayan. Okay, wow, grabe. Ang daming takeaway ni Christine Violata. Sabi niya, all of us are dealing with our own wars. But we could also be a blessing to others. Alright, okay. So dahil dyan, dahil 3 lang ang sumagot ngayon, okay, dahil 3 sila si Christine, 2 yung sinagot niya, ayan, 2 yung comment niya. So I guess we're going to give this prize to you guys, the 3 of you. Tama ba? Ayan, so, I don't know, okay? Meron pang sumagot si Strania Faye Villaches, okay? So, knowing yourself and being aware of your tendencies can help you manage your anxiety. So, according naman kay Angela, connect to the Lord and you can deal with your worries and problems. Okay, be grateful always, according kay Sheila Lumbayon. Alright, so, I'm not sure kung sino yung, sino pipiliin natin, guys? So, I will check with our panelists. Sino kaya po? Ayan. Sino po kaya ang pwede? Ayan. So, congratulations, Shania Twain. Ayan. Ang ganda ng sagot mo. Ikaw yung napiling isa. Ayan. Another one will be from sino po? Ayan, Christine Violata, napakaganda ng sagot mo. Ayan, saka dalawa din yung sagot mo. Okay, so the last person, ayan, who will be receiving the third prize para makaano na tayo sa question and answer. Ayan. Ayan, so siguro, let's go on now with our Q&A, no? Ayan, and then the third one is Strana Pebelaches. Ayan, so congratulations, guys. Okay, you wait for advice from our, from Aboitiz Foundation. So now, we can open our floors, ayan, to receive your questions na. And then kindly type in, okay, your questions. Thank you so much, guys, for answering also all of the quizzes. Ayan. So we're very happy. So you can type in na your questions as of the moment para we can ask na Ate Shay. Ayan, so right now we have a question here. Ayan, hi Ate Shay, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, we have this first 3 questions. So number 1 is, how can we effectively stop the stigma related to mental health? And why do most people treat mental health as something not crucial and not serious?
Yeah. Well, first is we have, in order for us to be able to effectively stop, it should always start from you, diba? We have to remember that words are powerful. Sometimes even the way na naglalagay tayo ng label sa sarili natin, and even the way we label others sa kung ano yung nararamdaman nila, words are very powerful. Yung mga lumalabas doon sa bibig natin, they just don't describe our experiences. They shape and give meaning to our experiences. Let's say, for example, you mentioned that wala lang yan, malungkot ka lang. They are already giving something, or they are already giving meaning to that someone that you are saying to regarding dun sa experience niya. Kumbaga, words greatly influence and shape how we see, how we process and understand the world that we live in. Words are again powerful. Kumbaga, they have the potential for both life and death, and they become more powerful when we declare it to ourselves. Kumbaga, ikaw pa lang mismo sa sarili mo, i-distinguish mo na it's normal, na you are really experiencing it. Minsan kasi nagkakaroon siya ng stigma because ikaw pa lang mismo, hindi mo na kinikilala that you are experiencing that problem. Kasi nga una, feeling mo you are okay, malakas ka, matalino ka, leader ka, hindi dapat ganito, hindi mo dapat ito na-experience. Ayun. So, it should start from you. And why do most people treat mental health as something not crucial and not serious? Well, based doon sa data na binigay ko, I think it's becoming, kumbaga, a knowledge to everyone that we are experiencing this, just based on the number of people searching for it online. And as you can see, it's all over the social media. And if you will also notice, ang dami nang nagiging talks about anxiety, mental health today. Yan.
Okay. Alright. Thank you, Ate Shay. So, para palang dapat, first talaga is you have to accept it. Diba? Yun yung talaga. It's the key. First, acknowledge. Okay. So, number 2 question. What are the steps that could help the scholars to control or to avoid anxiety and depression in these trying times?
Ako, based on my experience to I'm not saying that if this actually applied or this has become effective to the scholars na ni-reach out namin, this could also be effective, but you can actually try. Number 1 is we connect. Kumbaga, yes, we are a scholarship program that provides financial assistance, but at the same time, we treat them as a family din. Kumbaga, the scholars know that they could come to us. Kumbaga, tayo as a student, we should be able to determine kung sino yung mga kumbaga sa branch, sino yung mga kakapitan natin. Sino yung mga kakapitan natin, sino yung mga pwede nating lapitan na mga individuals or organizations that could help us out when it comes to dealing with our emotions, ganyan. Leaders, it could be your family, it could be your church, or in fact, even Aboitiz, you could also, kasi diba, for sure, yung sa Aboitiz, marami na kayong nakakausap, hindi nyo lang sila nakakausap for every time na nagbibigay ng allowance and all of that. Siguro in a way nakakapag-diskusyon na rin kayo ng buhay-buhay and nakakapagbigay na rin sila ate and si kuya ng mga advices and all that. So always remain connected. Ayan. And again, I'm not saying that this could totally erase yung anxiety na meron ka. We actually exercise happy thoughts. Ayan. So, kapag sinabi mo ng happy thoughts, ayan. When we say happy thoughts, exercise, kumbaga, highlight the things that you are grateful for. Kasi, marami naman araw-araw naman maraming bagay na pwede mong ikalungkot, na pwedeng magkaroon tayo ng anxiety or fear. Pero na-empower niya yan kapag you highlight the things that you can be grateful for. Let's say for example, yung may baon ka, kahit pa 20 yan, at least may baon ka, 'di ba? Or meron kang nakapag-online class ka, 'di ba? At least nakapag-online class ka. Yung iba pupunta pa sa gitna ng pilapil para lang makapag-online class. So, those are the things. Highlight the things that you're grateful for. Pwedeng siguro application na pwedeng mong magawa. Create a journal. Actually, ako, sige, ma-share ko lang din naman yung gamit ko. I have a literally, journal. So, di ba, sobrang kita. Ito, journal. Journal ko lahat ng everyday to. Things that I am grateful for. Kahit yung mga simpleng bagay. Kunyari, kumain ako ng chocnut or binigyan ako ng chocnut. Yung ganon. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng tao magbigyan ng chocnut. Yung kahit yung mga simpleng ganon. So, yun, Ate Char.
Ayan, ang galing naman, Ate Shay. Actually, you have to be grateful and then really maintain relationship, diba? In order for you to be healthy also. Ayan, so we have this last question. We're so sorry, guys, kasi konti na lang yung time natin. This is from Aileen Renee Tagorda. Yan. You mentioned po kanina that your burning passion can be the cause of your own burnout. So my question is, how can you go back to loving that same passion after being discouraged by that burnout? Ayan.
Ayun. Well, ako, kunyari, ako, nagtatrabaho ako sa ministry, nagtatrabaho ako sa church. And why did I start working sa church? It's because I'm passionate about serving. And then later on, in one way or another, nagiging burnout siya sa akin. Usually, ang una kong naisip, it's because ang tagal-tagal ko na dito. Ang tagal-tagal ko na nagsiserve, tapos minsan nakakapagod, in a sense na people always go to you for kunyari, would like to talk to you, tapos reality bites, minsan, ikaw pa yung hindi kakamustahin. Kasi ikaw yung leader, and this is not just for me this could also happen to you. Kumbaga, kunyari, ikaw, dahil kilala ka nila as leader, ikaw yung laging pupuntahan, ikaw yung mag-a-ask ng help. Tapos, mapapansin mo, hindi ka na pala, kunyari sa student council, president ka, you really would like to help, you would really like to serve. Tapos, nagiging cause na siya ng burnout mo in a sense na napapagod ka. And feeling mo, it's because of dahil matagal ka ng president. Kasi alam mo na yung paligoy-ligoy, alam mo na yung pasikot-sikot. Ako, one thing that helps me go back to the yung passion na meron ako is simplify things. Bakit ba ako nandito in the first place? Diba? Kasi heart ko really to serve. Kumbaga, you also have to be realistic na may mga pagkakataon talaga na hindi ka makakamusta, na hindi, alam mo yun, hindi ka nila ma-check. Kumbaga, saan naka-build, ako personally, saan ba naka-build yung faith ko? Kapag ba tong mga taong to hindi na ako kinamusta, hindi na ako magiging okay. But at the end of the day, I know that I am full and that I am wonderfully created by the Lord. That kumbaga, no matter what happens, di man ako kamustahin, kahit pa sabihin mo, boss ko na mismo yung hindi kumamusta sa akin. Hindi kasi doon hindi yun yung definition ng pagkatao ko as a person. Hindi lang yun yung magde-define kung sino ako. Minsan kasi nagiging, kunyari, leader ka. So, kunyari sa school, you are president of student council. Tapos yung project na create mo, ang pangit ng naging outcome. So ikaw, passionate ka dati, all out ka sa kung paano ka magtrabaho, but because of that outcome, nagiging burnout na siya sa'yo. So naging trauma na siya in a sense na every time na magkakaroon ng project, you always have this fear na you have to please everyone kasi dito nakasalalay yung kung paano ka makikilala. Kumbaga, babalik ka mismo sa babalik ka uli sa kumbaga, simplify things, babalik ka uli. Dito lang, kumbaga, hindi yan yung magde-define kung sino ka. Kunyari, sa scholarship program, hindi ko naman sinabi na huwag nang taasan yung grades nyo kasi hindi naman pala yun yung magde-define kung sino kayo. Di ba? Pero, kumbaga, part lang yun ng kung sino ka, hindi yan yung overall mo. Diba? Kumbaga simplify things, wag natin masyadong palakihin. Minsan yung nagiging anxiety natin kasi dahil pinapalaki natin yung mga bagay, kaya nagiging burnout na siya for us. Ayun.
Sometimes you overthink too much, no? You overthink. So ang talaga doon is you go back to the very reason why you do it. Diba? Kasi when you're so stressed already and then balik ka doon, why am I, what's the reason nga, what's the purpose? Ayan, so why I'm doing it. Ayan, Ate Shay, thank you so much. Grabe lang, ang ganda ng topic ngayon. Thank you everyone for your questions. Ayan, thank you. Ayan, kasi we don't have time anymore. Maraming salamat, Shay. Thank you to our scholars and live audience, ayan, who actively participated in the pop quiz also and all of your questions. Ayan, Aboitiz Foundation will contact you on how to get your prizes. Ayan, thank you again, Ate Shay. Ayan, Coach Shay, grabe lang, ang daming natutunan today. And all of the Aboitiz team members for spending your Friday morning with us and sharing insights to the viewers. So this has been Zar Cinco from Aboitiz Equity Ventures Inc. Ayan, tune in to Aboitiz Foundation's official Facebook page for future webinars. Thank you everyone. Stay safe and God bless you all.